So my name is Danyelle Beal. I am a board certified behavior analyst, and I also am a clinical psychologist. Signed up for integral coaching, and it was 5 months. And the reason why I accepted kind of the invitation to explore what coaching would look like is because in my business, I feel adequately inept to run the business side of things. I know how to provide the service, but as far as business, I knew that I was getting in the way of some of the growth that I'm looking to achieve. And so I figured that if I said yes to an opportunity, that I wasn't getting in the way of potential progress. You know what I like about Bill is that he is very, I don't know how to explain this. And you can do with this information what you will, but he's kind of like water. Like he doesn't have an agenda of his own. He was very supportive and just being a presence that was like calming. So when I imagined my time with him, it felt like getting into like an Epsom salt bath or getting into like a warm jacuzzi. Like he just was there to kind of like hold support, but he wasn't forceful in his movements. And I'm getting emotional as I'm thinking about it. He was so patient. He was so patient with like helping me work through some of the stuff that was coming up. And it was really this inner critic that was telling me that I was incapable of doing some of the things. Specifically, he helped me realize how I was operating was very different than how I wanted to. And I knew this kind of in my own psychotherapy journey, that I tend to operate in survival mode, and he kind of created a space where I could explore what that looked like and if it was serving me. And I realized that it wasn't, and so he helped me kind of form a new way of looking at myself so that I could stop interfering with the old way of me doing things and walking into a newness of who I am based on what I've learned in the past few years about myself. That I don't operate outside of my own values in service of my business. That was clear. I have my values that are kind of aligned with my business values, but I thought that I had to bypass some of the stuff that was coming up in order to meet like my business goals. And I realized that if I'm not okay, if I'm not honoring me, myself, then I'm not going to be good for the communities that I'm supporting. That was integral. That was absolutely groundbreaking for me to make that realization that I have to serve myself first in order to be of any value to my business. I think I would still be banging my head against a wall. In frustration. I am kind to myself, and I know how to kind of stop and be okay. But again, I was honoring my service to other people before I was honoring a service to myself. And that was very frustrating. And I didn't know that I could disconnect the two and really tend to what was coming up for me. And so I think I would still kind of be actively banging my head against a wall, frustrated that I felt so locked and kind of tormented with lack of growth. I think that simplest form, me realizing what I looked like before my time with him and comparing it to who I am and how I want to operate in service of like my values and what I'm offering to the community, having that very clear picture is going to stay with me for the rest of my life. And when I get back into my old habits, I have it. I will show you. I have my little, I wrote this like after our first, it's a little like saying, if you will. I read it every day. I have another copy on top of my wall. And anytime I get stuck or I feel like I can't do something or fear kind of paralyzes me, I think about what I looked like before and what I look like now, this new understanding of who I am, that's going to stay with me. And it's going to be a gentle reminder to continue to push into operating as that person until that person evolves into the next thing.